high if you show me yours. Okay.
Oh my God, we're back.
We're back.
Can you even believe it?
Sure,
I can believe it.
Yeah. I was just here. So I'm back.
So now I'm back.
Yeah.
Again.
It's a circle.
Time is a circle.
Yeah.
It really is. That's an appropriate introduction in today's conversation, actually.
It is.
Actually.
It
Because,
is.
hey, Mags.
Yeah.
This is I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
It is.
We've been showing each other a whole lot for quite a while.
Yeah.
How you been, buddy?
Good.
Yeah?
Really good.
Yeah?
Yes.
I know you were in the mountains.
I was in the mountains.
Yeah.
I came down from the mountains.
Yeah.
I'm back now.
Wiser.
Back to the mountains.
Yeah. How's wedding planning? That's got to be heating up now, right?
It is heating up. Luckily, we did a lot of things early in the band, early in the year, just to get a lot of things out of the way. But now it's all the details that you don't even realize are things that you have to think about until now you have to think about them.
Well, I feel like you guys have jumped the biggest hurdle, which is the moving in piece, right? Like that stuff's all.
Oh yeah.
So like, there's not. It's really just planning a day.
Yes. There's
not a life.
Yes.
In the same way.
Yes. Not. Yeah. There's no like emotional other than like it's gonna be fun, obviously.
Yeah.
But
totes fun.
Yeah, the stakes are very low in that it's just like throwing a party.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, you guys throw great parties. I've been to about 4 of your parties, and they've all been just wonderful.
We throw pretty good parties.
Just wonderful. I'm looking forward to a fish jamboree.
I know.
You know?
Yeah, us fishes. We're pretty fun.
Yeah, you fishes. That's
fishes.
right, because that is the plural for you. Fishes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever listen to the song "Weird Fishes" by Radiohead?
No. Should I?
I mean,
I
any Radiohead
guess.
song, you know how I feel about it.
That's true. That's true.
And I also know how you feel about it, which is I don't get this. But Weird Fishes might.
Right. Well, also, and we have not yet. I don't think you've assigned me Radiohead album.
No, we did.
We did. Yes,
we did. In Rainbows. We did in Rainbows. But we haven't done the 2 sacred cows. There's 2 sacred cows. We haven't done either of those yet.
I did listen to Joshua Tree. Remember? Right?
I don't even think we've talked about that on this podcast.
We did.
I can't believe you did that.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's hear some impressions. I mean,
I think I did say that it was the first time that I feel like I understood
why people care about you too.
Yes, but also the specific song.
Is it Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For?
Yes,
that's the one. Everybody.
That was the first time this was the first time I heard it and like understood it.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's a great song.
It's a great song, and like. I think you described this to me when you once described this song. But yeah, just like it's smart and that it's like this and this and this and yet it's just like
I've done this and I've done that, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And it's very like a psalm, it's like ancient poetry-ish. There's like a rhythm to it. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Great tune.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard them play that once live, and it was really good.
That's cool.
I heard them play "Bullet the Blue Sky." Did you listen to that track? It's on Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
It's on. I don't want to sing it here.
Yeah.
It was fucking fantastic.
Whoa.
Like that's a song they crush live.
Yeah.
So you liked it.
I did like it.
I was surprised by that.
I still like Sunday or Bloody Sunday is probably still. My favorite.
It's everybody's favorite.
It's everyone's favorite. It's so good, Yeah.
Yeah.
I did understand it more, and that song specifically, I was like, oh, okay, Now
Okay.
I
how do you feel about With or Without You now at this point in your life?
I felt similarly in that, like, I was able to appreciate it in a different way that I hadn't before. Because again, I think I've explained this to you, where it's like, by my age, you were presented YouTube with a lot of irony and
yes,
correct,
and
cynicism,
a lot of smart ass,
yes.
And that album has none of it. There's no irony.
No. Which again helps me understand it, because it's like, oh, this is that's how
this
it
is what
should
U2
be.
really is.
Yes.
Like there's so few things that are genuine, like, and that get away with being genuine.
Yeah.
Even in the 80s, there wasn't really that much stuff like that. But they kind of broke through in that way. Yeah. I personally enjoy their cynical period more. But I think that's because that's just this old bear's way. You know, I just like the cynicism a little better. But like, you know, again, the other records that came out that year are like, I mean, the most interesting one of them is Appetite for Destruction, which came out, I think that was Guns N' Roses, and I'm pretty sure it was the same year. That's an interesting record for the time. Right. And just polar opposites emotionally.
Yes.
Like just, wow, they're not even in the same conversation. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
How are the cats?
Cats are great.
Yeah.
We got them like little cat stairs.
I saw that, little pads that they can leap to. It's like a 3-dimensional lake they're leaping from pad to pad on.
It's pretty cool. We also, part of it that we couldn't put up yet because they sent us the wrong part, is there's also a bridge that goes with it. So they'll be able to.
Oh my God, you're giving them a cat bridge. That's so much. That's insane. I love it so much. Have you ever thought about putting the pads as far as a distance apart as they can jump? Like to see like how far can they really do it?
Right. No, we put them pretty. I mean, they're far apart enough that they have to jump, but not so far apart because they're both kind of scaredy cats. Actually, one of them doesn't use it at all. Only Lewis, our brave girl, uses them all the time. She runs up and down. But
like, do cats ever want to be challenged?
Yes.
Like, do they ever like see? Can I jump that far? Do cats ever do that?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the first time that she ran up, she jumped all the way down from.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good, and also she clearly didn't understand that she could walk down. Because she had never, there was no stairs. She's never encountered stairs before.
Then the way down is balls out.
Yeah. She was like, no. You just go the way you came. We had to like put treats down the stairs to show her.
Yeah.
Yes.
It kind of. There are some animals that like you just can't believe what they get away with. Yeah. Cats, you can't believe what they're getting away with. Same with squirrels.
Yes.
How are they getting away with this shit?
Our cat, when other people come over, she will squeeze herself between the wall and our kitchen island, like our kitchen counter. She will wedge herself to the point where she gets stuck, and we have to move the counter so that she can crawl out. Yes.
It's like hard to imagine that.
I know. You know, she will get stuck between the wall and...
We had a friend. We have a friend. You and I have a mutual friend whose name I will not utter here for just because they don't probably want to know that this story.
Yeah.
But they had a cat that got lost, and where it ended up being was in the wall.
No.
And they were searching for days.
Oh no.
And this person kept feeling like they could hear the cat.
That's
terrifying. And they were being told by their friends, like, you're in a tough time.
Oh my God.
Which was probably a natural thing. Like, it's just emotional. And nope, they were hearing the cat. It was in the wall.
Oh no.
In the wall. Wow. For days.
Wow.
The hell kind of cat is that? What is going on in that cat's mind?
What's going on?
Don't know. Okay, so cats are good. Wedding is good.
Wedding's good.
Life is good.
Life's good.
Okay, that's pretty good. Good for you.
How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing fine. As I mentioned to Maggie when she came in here, my mother rewarded my birthday with another thing to kill.
Yeah. Specifically.
That's what she did. She's now kill this.
Now kill this one.
Yeah, every year it's a thing to sacrifice that your life may continue. Anyway, so I have another plant on my DVD shelf.
Yep.
And it'll be dead soon.
It'll be dead soon.
But it'll be dead. Also, one of our delightful patrons sent me those Overlook Hotel throw cushions that were very cool.
That's very cool.
So that's pretty good. Streams are good. Projects are happening. Yeah. I kind of need to write a new thing. I'm kind of ready to write a new thing.
Write a new thing? What, do you have a category of thing that you're interested in?
You and I are texting a little bit about this.
We were. Oh, that's right.
Well, I'm just refreshing for the audience.
Yeah.
So, like, I was writing another crime story, and a friend of mine was like, why? You already have so many of those, man. Like, how many crime things do you want to write? And I was like, that's true.
Yeah. Because crime is interesting. Yeah.
It's interesting to me, but I'm also not, like, a crime guy. Like, that's not my thing. I just happen to have wrote a bunch of thrillers like that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking for something that's probably more of a, like a heartfelt comedy is more the wheelhouse. So there's that one about the farmer and his
I like that one a lot.
His future self trying to trick him into becoming a doomsday prophet. That I think
It's pretty fucking
kind of like that log line, actually.
Yeah, it's great.
So that's one I mean, I need to get back to something. I've been tinkering over the short film.
Right.
That's like, so the way I get myself to write is I do 2 pages every day.
Oh, cool.
Well, yeah, but then it means I get bullshit first drafts. Like really bullshit first drafts. So I've been like writing a short film that I'm probably going to get to make through my work.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And it's like 30 pages of just like meandering bullshit right now. And I'm just like, oh my God. Because I kind of just need to sit down and write it and finish it. And I'm like, I don't want to though, you know?
Yeah.
Every time I write 2 pages, guess what? They're still chatting about this thing they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you relate to that. Because I can't write in short bursts. I won't write if I do that. I got to basically like every day.
I'm a little
factory.
little column A, little column B. I write in short bursts, but I pretty much, if I'm working on a project tangentially, I'll work on it basically every day. I'll work on everything every day.
Okay.
Even if it's just a little bit. But
is that easier for you?
Yes. One, because it keeps things like fresh in my mind, basically. And it's easier for me to like switch around. So like, you know, I'll write a little bit on the next video. I'll write a little bit on the video 2 videos from now.
Yeah.
And then I'll write a little bit on a personal thing.
That seems really hard to me. I don't know how you do that. I can basically write like 2 or 3 things at a time, but not on the same day. Like it's like, now I'm going to focus on this and then that. Like I can't really do that.
Yeah.
It sounds like maybe Swam and I are going to come back to a script we were trying a couple years ago.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm ready for something new. I'm ready for something. Well, we have some producers to thank.
We do have some producers to thank.
And contrary to popular opinion, I like to start from the bottom this time.
Oh, that is contrary to my popular opinion.
Yeah, my opinion, which was very popular.
Very popular.
You're ignoring that. So you have the list in front of you also,
I
right?
do, yes.
So thanks so much to Maggie's favorite, Adamantium Jello.
Thank you, Adamantium Jello. If you ever leave, I'll be mad.
She'll quit the podcast. That'll be it. Yeah. That'll be it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever read any stories with adamantium as an element?
Not yet.
I haven't either. I'm aware of it as an ancient. Yeah, it's like a thing in like sci-fi lore. I want to say like it's like the hardest metal there is. You know, or maybe it's comic books. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm aware of it.
Okay,
you did enough.
I'm aware.
You did enough, Adamantium Jello. Thanks to Taylor Carriage.
Thank you, Taylor Carriage.
Yeah, that's a great name, right?
I know a lot of great Taylors, and Carriage is a great last name.
It is a great last name. Yeah. You do know a lot of Taylors.
I do know a lot of
Taylors.
Taylors.
Taylor came into vogue after I was born.
It must have.
It was like a 10-year gap there.
I know both men and a lot of men and women named Taylor. Just Taylor's.
Yeah, Taylor was like a whole 5-year.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to call that? A movement? Yeah, pandemic? I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah.
Just Taylors everywhere you look.
Taylors. But this one's good.
This one's great.
Yeah.
Thanks to Daniel Christensen.
Thank you, Daniel Christensen.
Yeah. Vampire, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
dead for years.
This guy's been dead, yeah. If you're a vampire, other than sex, really what are you up to?
A lot of sex, I would assume.
That's what else can you do?
That's why you become a vampire. You're
I think it's the only
I
reason.
could fuck the rest of my life. I think I'm gonna take the devil's deal.
Right.
I think I'll die if I, do that.
Right.
Yeah.
They have sensory, like they have feelings, like
for sure.
Sensory.
Yeah. And I think drinking the blood is some sort of
like it just
sexual thrill.
powers it up. Huh?
Yeah.
Supercharges the old bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Daniel Christensen, if you'd care to give us an insight into your lifestyle, we're happy to hear. Or
Yeah.
We're happy
You could also be a werewolf. We're not judging.
You could be a werewolf.
Yeah. But one of those.
I feel like probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, that seems absurd. Thanks to Tony Fahey.
Thank you, Tony Fahey.
70s sitcom star. It's Tony Fahey.
Absolutely. Where is he now?
Where is Tony Fahey now?
I think he's just living a regular life in a fun way, though.
Yeah, you think he lives in like an RV, but he could live in a mansion?
Yes.
But he's
Grows
like, I'm
pots.
choosing RV.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has a pretty successful pot business, but again, is a choice. Doesn't have to.
You know what Tony Fahey got real rich doing after his sitcom days? Buying RV lots to hook up. That's a fucking thing.
Is it really?
You can make some money on that. Wow. Yeah. Wow. F your eye. F everybody's eye. I might have just ruined that market. I don't know. Anyway, thanks to Faye Inouye.
Thank you, Faye Inouye.
I believe it's Inouye. Inoue. Inouye? Faye, I'm sorry I butchered it. I thought I really had it, and then I didn't have it.
They didn't send a pronunciation.
I've never gotten a pronunciation guide from literally any of these people.
Yeah, all right. Well, I would assume that we're fine.
So I'm going to be a cowboy shooting a six-shooter with all their names.
Mm-hmm. Right now, I think this is the most beautiful way to say it, but if they correct me, that will be the most beautiful way to say it.
What's your current most beautiful? What is it? Faye
Inouye.
Just so everybody understands, Maggie also threw her shoulders into it.
You got
Maggie put a little shoulder into that pronunciation. So she put some zip on that, Faye. I hope you're happy about it. Hey, thanks to Kyle Schroetel.
Yeah, thank you. Beep, beep.
Just
parking in, toss my keys. I'm back again.
Is he a bus? Is that what it is?
This is the motel. I'm checking in.
Why is there a car horn? Why is there a car horn?
I come so often, that
you just kind of driving up and so the attendant's flying out
Fish
there.
is here again.
Fish is here.
Yeah.
What are you doing in the motel is the obvious question.
I mean, one of her suitors, her mysterious suitors.
Okay, let's slow down and understand this metaphor really quick here. So, thanks to Kyle Schroetel, who reminds Maggie of her frequent visits at a hotel where she pursues her love interest.
He owns the hotel. He owns the motel.
So this is like
I'm at the Schroetel motel.
So he's pimping you out.
Yeah.
That's
I'm using his locale. We have an understanding that
Are you kicking up to
they're
him?
not going to call the cops. And
Are you kicking up to him?
No, he's not going to ask that. No.
I'm asking you. Are you kicking up to him or no?
I mean, I give him a nice
So he's pimping you
Christmas
out.
present every year, but I keep 100% of that profit. I pay for a square.
I understand how you have hard and fast distinctions here, so I'm not going to push this any further. But
what a fantasy we've created.
Thanks to Christina Ruiz.
Thank you, Christina
AKA
Ruiz.
Breezy, AKA Friend of Rats.
Yes.
Friend of Rats. I got an email from Breezy that was like, I don't not care about rats. I do care about rats.
Oh, great.
So I'm going to issue a public correction. Breezy does love her rats.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
That's
just
good.
everyone needs to know that. Okay,
great.
fair enough.
Thanks rat
to
lover.
I like 3.14 or Pie Guy.
Pie Guy.
Love you, Pie Guy.
Love you.
You're my faves. Mm-hmm. Thanks to Benjamin Egan.
Thank you, Benjamin.
Explorer.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely.
This guy was born with a machete.
Yes. Yes. Let's not read too deep into his history of how he treated the people
The
that he
indigenous
met along the way.
peoples?
Yeah, I'm thinking name a good explorer.
I'm sorry,
blank.
So far, we've described our patrons as pimps and potentially colonial exploiters.
Potentially.
So thanks, guys, for supporting us.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Garrett Cooper.
Thank you, Garrett
the
Cooper.
sweetest of hearts.
Absolutely.
Just the candy sweetheart.
The king of hearts.
Oh, little appreciated character in Alice in Wonderland.
Yes, yeah.
More of a decisive vote in the books, I believe.
I think so. He has a bigger voice in the book.
Yeah, I mean, he's hilarious in the movie. Mm-hmm.
But
Just,
played for
consider
laughs.
my idea.
Yeah,
that guy. Yeah. We like the version. I'm okay with that. Joel Harper.
Thank you, Joel Hyper.
Yeah, Joel.
Hyper.
Joel Hyper. No, that's a character I can get on board with.
That's true.
That's probably a Blue's Clues, like a side character, right?
Yeah. And he's
showing up like, I gotta learn something.
Yeah.
I gotta add some math together.
I'll do it. What are we doing?
Yeah, Sugar Coke Joel Hyper.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, thanks to Platypus Gestapo. Mm-hmm. That's a great name.
That's a great name.
Right?
Yeah.
Not much to add to that.
No, I mean he's calling himself the Gestapo, so
So it's not from us.
Yeah, it's not for. That's not even our imagination.
It is preferred that the Gestapo's existence never be confirmed, is my understanding. But I'm not a part of that organization.
Right. So you wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know.
No.
I would not know. I've just heard that. So thanks to Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. You single named hero.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks to. I've always enjoyed this name. Becky's letting me dangle in the wind with this one. Thanks to Sean Bibinet. Babinett. It's Babinett. I'm fucking it up.
Yep.
I mean, the only thing I ever think of when I hear this name is rabbits.
Me too.
I
think of Peter Rabbit and nothing else.
Yeah, I just think of different rabbits in that, like bugs. Okay, all right.
Wow, okay.
Are we at that stage we're fighting now in the podcast?
If it's about Peter Rabbit, yeah.
Don't you fuck with Peter.
Fuck with Peter Rabbit.
All right, fair enough. Thanks to Rye Wyke.
Thank you, Rye Wyke.
Wyche. W-Y-C-H-E. Wyke? Weish?
Scottish, Welsh?
I feel like this is an SAT question or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, how'd you do in your SATs?
Pretty fucking good.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
I bet you were fucking awesome on it.
That was pretty good.
I was pretty awesome. You want to know one of the best days of my life? Okay, because I'm not really, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Would you call me a bragger? Am I a bragger?
No,
I do not brag.
No.
I don't like bragging.
Audience, no, yeah.
I don't like bragging. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like self-hype and shit. I don't dig that.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I had this friend, real asshole about how they scored on tests and stuff. And I went to high school with this person, then we lost touch. Then I got back in touch with them via a friend group when I was like 30.
Wow.
Or close to 30. Okay, so close to a few years older than you are now.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so this person took the GRE and was like very proud of themselves and happened to take it at the same time as I did. Right. And I'm talking about extraordinarily condescending. Like you can't believe how condescending this person was.
Amazing.
And I was like, hey, cool, man. How'd you do? And they said their score and it was 100 points lower than mine. So that's all you need to know. And I was like, and I know that a little of the warmth of that knowledge came to my face. I don't know how much came to my face, but a little bit of it was like, oh, good. I did like, oh, that's great. Good score. And then seriously, this dread came over them. Like you could see it, and they were like, how'd you do?
Amazing.
And I was like, and I told them the score. I told them the score, and they were not happy for me.
Wow.
Not happy for me.
So they did not change in all of those years. That is
never
amazing.
Never changed.
Wow.
Just fundamentally believed I'm smarter than this person, therefore it will always be that way.
Right. It is a fixed.
It was never true, and
yeah.
also just like, what are you doing, man?
And also
what
tests
is this?
like there's only
well, the thing that really pissed her off is I didn't study for it. You know what I mean? Sorry, that pissed her off.
Yeah, of course.
And I mentioned
because
that
she carries that, but like it's her
right.
own.
I mentioned that before, which is what led to that conversation. So I kind of did put her in a trap. I feel bad about that.
You didn't know.
I don't remember if I know or not. I can be a little devious
Sure.
sometimes. Just a wee bit of a devious
Maybe
bear.
she deserves a little bit of her own medicine.
Anybody that wants to come at me on like certain issues, like I'm just not going to have it. There's just some issues like that was when I was like, no, I'm not going to let you beat up on me about test scores. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that.
I mean, that's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous.
It's insane. And also like, I don't like that kind of petty shit.
Yeah.
Enough that I guess I'm going to put it on a podcast. I don't know.
That's funny.
Thanks to Jesse Clay.
Thank you, Jesse Clay.
What a great name.
That's a great name.
Right? Like that's a person who you want to take your paternity tests.
Oh yeah.
Right? They're going to process those paternity tests and you will find out, is that your child?
Yes. And she'll pull you aside first and like,
Listen, 98% chance, not your kid.
Yeah. Listen.
Yeah.
You're going to want to redo this at an incredible source.
Listen, you might want to stop forwarding those checks.
Just keep it.
What a dark group of people we're thanking today. Hey, thanks to Timothy Schreiner.
Thank you, Timothy Schreiner.
And that's a guy who you could see him being the head of a union.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I was going to say the image that came to mind when you said his name was someone pulling the sword out of the stone, which I guess that
like
would
Arthur?
make him, or like one of the
King
knights.
Arthur?
Maybe not King Arthur specifically, but a
very
knight.
important knight.
Yeah, an important knight, which I guess you could say that's a union member.
He's got a place at the round table.
Yeah.
Where they do all the judging and stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's pretty high praise. Timothy Schreiner. Thanks so much to Sarah Sexton.
Thank you, Sarah Sexton.
Who we found out, what's that name mean? Bodyguard, right?
Yes.
Is that what Sexton means?
Yeah.
They wrote in. They were like, it means bodyguard.
Yeah.
Did not accept our employment opportunity, though.
This is true. This is true.
We're still walking in fear every time we do this
said
podcast.
No, but still walking in fear.
Thanks to Jessica M.
Thank you, Jessica M.
Thanks to Blake, the sad boy Prescott.
Blake, the sad boy Prescott.
It's begging for comment, isn't it?
It is.
Do you want to reward that?
Why so sad, Blake?
Okay. She's gonna Joker. She's gonna Joker blade you.
Yeah.
She's gonna blade your cheeks.
I'm gonna tell you why your feelings are invalid.
Yeah. Thanks to Something Clever.
Thank you, Something Clever.
Disagree with the name though.
Oh.
Disagree.
Because it's not clever.
That was not clever. That was not Something Clever.
Whoa.
Too mean? Is that too mean?
Yeah.
Maggie's giving me that. That was too mean. Look. I'm sorry. Okay.
No. I'm just saying. I mean, technically, they set out to do what they wanted to do, which was a placeholder for something clever.
So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. So can't wait for you to change your name.
Yeah, TBD on this gratitude for you.
We're reserving it.
And finally, for this round, thanks to Adam Duncan.
Thank you, Adam Duncan.
Yeah. Seems like a good guy.
Wholesome.
So wholesome. Not used. That's a word you don't hear enough these days.
Wholesome?
Yeah. Wholesome guys. I'm into that. Right?
All my guy friends, they're very wholesome.
Yeah, they know how to churn a butter if they have to.
Yes, and they would.
You know? They would. You want some butter? You want some butter? They'll make it right now.
They would churn it for you. Believe me, you.
All right. No, I do. Well, we've had a great time so far. It's probably time we get into the substance, though, because we got a doozy on our hands here. We got a real doozy.
What a serendipitous doozy.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because
we've never been so aligned.
We never line up like this. We're usually like, oh, wow, you're such a different human than me.
Right.
And we were like right on.
Laser focus.
Yeah, the same point with this. So the prompt was, and we sent it out, and you guys voted for it, and you selected the movie that intellectually offends you.
What a fun
topic.
What a fun topic.
Yeah, I don't know whose brain that came from, but what a fun one. What a fun one. And the funniest thing is, like, basically when we started texting each other about it, we like both mentioned the identical filmmaker.
Yes.
And that filmmaker is Christopher Nolan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Two
we were
different
both like,
films came to our hearts.
But we could have switched them and it would have been true.
Yeah.
Because when I watched these movies in preparation for this talk, I was like, oh, this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I think we should say in preface before we get into this, we like Christopher Nolan.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I really do like his films.
Yes.
Having just watched Bicentennial Man, I can tell you, Christopher Nolan is an excellent filmmaker.
Oh my God.
One of the greats.
He'll never make something like Bicentennial Man.
No.
Never.
His floor is very high.
Yes.
His floor is very high.
And this is all a given, to just preface.
Well, it does bear mentioning.
Yes.
Because I don't want people to get the opinion that when we trash something or rant about something, that it's coming from a place of like, this stupid fuck, like we know better.
Oh, right.
It's really more, I think, trying to have an authentic reaction to something. And at least for me, I often feel frustrated by things that people sort of take for granted.
Yes.
That's sort of true across all mediums.
Yes.
Like when somebody takes something for granted and it doesn't click for me, I get irritated with that.
That's like when I did my Wes Anderson, they were like, why didn't you trash Wes Anderson? I was like, because I don't think people properly talk about his like style. Like people write off his,
people
whatever
just take it for granted.
Yes, people take it for
It's
granted.
good.
Yes.
It's like, well, is it? I mean,
is it?
And what does it mean?
And also, what is it? Yeah. But,
I agree. That's, I think, part of what's inspiring today's conversation. And the other part is that I think both of these movies were received with a lot of fanfare by moviegoers.
Yes.
A little bit less from critics, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
And now in the post-Tenet era, I think deserve a little bit more scrutiny.
Yes.
Because for reasons that I think will appear. So, all that prefacing aside, the movie I picked was Inception.
Yeah.
And the movie Maggie, what movie did you pick?
Interstellar.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh, man.
Could not believe it.
Immediately when you said the topic, that was the first movie that came to mind.
I didn't like Interstellar either. So, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
Maggie, tell us what give us the whole synopsis on Interstellar.
Oh, good Lord. Okay. So Matthew McConaughey is our salt of the earth.
Former astronaut.
Current farmer.
Yeah, current
in the future.
Farmer.
Yes, in the future. They make a big deal about how he, never got to go to space, and like you never got to do the thing that you wanted to do. The guy says to. What's his face?
Probably his dad, right? John Lithgow?
Yeah. So, they paint that of him.
He was quietly pretty good in this movie.
Yeah,
John Lithgow. Yeah.
I was like, oh, come back.
John Lithgow is a great actor.
He is.
He's underappreciated in a lot of ways. I mean,
yeah.
he was... Third Rock from the Sun is, I think, it'll always be the thing we always remember him for. He's incredible in that.
He's incredible.
That's a very stupid show, but he is so good in it.
I love him as
anyway.
An actor. Yeah, and he's great in this, and I wish there was
he's
more
really
of
good
him.
In this.
Yes. Okay, so basically, however many years ago, a couple scientists realized that, like, you know, the Earth is dying. There's a lot of shit going on with this guy's farm. All to say, they call him in for this, like, you know, we're going to send you to basically, you know, see if there is a sustainable life outside of Earth.
Yeah. I mean,
that gets complicated.
There's a key ingredient that sort of doesn't really make sense until the very end. And even then, I would say it doesn't make sense, which is his daughter is like afraid of a ghost. What she describes as a ghost in her room.
Yes.
And the ghost leaves a pattern in the dust that's falling from the shelves that they figure out is Morse code.
Yes.
From that, they get the coordinates of what turns out to be a NASA base.
Yes.
Now, and the film kind of just leaves that behind for a really long time.
For the full, and it's a long movie.
It's 3 hours, and it feels
movie.
all three of them. Yeah.
You feel it every 3 hours. You are introduced to other characters that are confused. Anne Hathaway's character is extremely confusing to me.
She's the daughter of Michael Caine, who is sort of the head NASA guy,
right?
Who has like basically an equation that is the guidance for whether or not to take this experiment,
right?
And the experiment is that they're gonna visit 3 potential next planet Earths
to see if they are
can they sustain
viable.
life? That's the idea, right? Yeah. Sorry to take over. Forgive me.
No, that's basically it. And then spoiler, you know, but
well, that's not actually the most important thing in the film, though, right? Or I think the thing people remember about this film is that on the journey, the film incorporates the concept of time dilation.
Oh, okay. So yes, as he is traveling around the Earth, he is losing exponential time with his daughter
as he's traveling around the other planet.
Yes,
because they travel through a wormhole that's unexplained that showed up around Saturn.
Yep.
So they go through a wormhole.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And then in order to get on one of the planets, there's a time dilation thing. So like, they basically lose something
You're gonna give up
20 years.
Yeah,
It was like 20 years or something like that on a 7-minute journey.
Yes.
Which, by the way, that planet sucks. That wave planet.
Yeah, sucks.
Nightmare.
That
was not a fun planet.
No.
Also, the guy who died there. Can we just take a brief?
Oh my God.
What's that guy's fucking problem?
I don't know.
Get in the spaceship, you asshole.
Get in the.
What are you doing?
Anne Hathaway at some point, I start yelling at her character, like, why are you preoccupied with this thing you suddenly now care about?
It is fundamentally impossible for these people to be on this shallow water planet and not see the 200-foot high wave coming from like, what, I don't know, 2 miles away or whatever.
Yeah.
I would get the fuck off that planet the minute I could.
Gone. Yeah.
Like, that's terrifying.
Yes.
Horrifying.
No.
Anyway. That was a real bummer to me. Yeah.
I mean, well, and all to say, yes, the time delineation is a huge part of it, which is also the premise of one of my favorite Queen songs.
You love that so much.
I love that song. I do. And I do think that song handles it in a much more interesting way. Of course.
Because Queen, I love Queen.
Queen's great.
Because they just didn't feel beholden to anything.
Exactly.
They're just like, right this way.
And it came from the same, Brian May, is an astrophysicist. So like the time delineation thing was the, so the end of it is that Matthew McConaughey was the one who was giving these secret messages to his daughter, who ends up, the secret Morse code message is also some sort of equation that ends up...
It helps her solve an equation
about saving
multidimensionality,
Earth.
which then allows them to figure out how to create a sustainable Earth colony, I guess.
Right.
Okay. It's really hard to connect how those plot pieces fall together coherently.
Right. Yes.
Because he basically ends up flying into a black hole at the end.
Yeah.
I guess plot reasons.
Yes.
And the sequence where they go into the black hole is incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's like, this is an update on 2001.
Yes.
Like the first real update on 2001: A Space Odyssey. And it was really awesome. Some of the coolest filmmaking I've seen ever, honestly. Like, it was really moving this time. I was like, wow, that's really good. And then he ends up in a strange, like, tesseract, fifth dimension space that we don't understand.
I love you, daughter.
Right, and it's like, the logic feels like it's based around the idea of, like, you know how, like, when you go through a black hole or a wormhole, everything's sort of up for grabs? That's kind of what it is. Everything's up for grabs.
Yes. It's sort of a like, I like maybe miss my daughter's whole entire life because maybe I did kind of just want to be an astronaut to like fulfill. Sure.
That's the thing, right?
But I loved her, and actually, it helped her save the Earth. So like, actually, it was all justified, wasn't it?
That does seem to be the argument the film is making.
Yeah.
Now, Maggie, I'm going to ask you what I think is a setup question for you. Does this man love his daughter?
I'm sure Matthew McConaughey and Nolan writing the script think that they thought that they were writing a script that did in a way that like you don't even get, Adam, that they really did love her. Because yes, we did see her sobbing and crying. You know, we saw her entire emotional journey of her not having her father around. Okay.
She takes that really hard, by the way.
She does.
She takes it hard in a way that I am sympathetic to, but like it just trashes her life.
Yes, it
trashed her life for 40 years.
Right, and so it makes the ending feel worse. Like if she didn't have that response, I don't think I would have felt as terrible. But it's like even if she had been like,
it's just so easy.
I'll never see you. But anyway, and she just lived her life, and we knew that she was kind of okay,
like hurt even.
Yes, or hurt. Then even the ending, I would have less issues with it. But they take the time to be like, no, it fucked her.
They
up.
spend a lot of time on this issue.
Entire life.
Yeah, they spend a lot of time on this issue, and it just seems like the kind of thing that this woman would have had to at some point in her young adolescence or maybe even young adulthood would have had to go to a therapist.
Yeah.
And the therapist would have said like, your dad's a hero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what would have been said, and it would have sunk in even if it was a lie.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's just like, oh yeah, what else could he do? He had to do this.
Right.
Maybe he was providing for you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such an easy thing for her to choose to believe that would give her so much peace.
Yeah.
So like, even if it's not true, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It feels like she could have easily come to that.
Absolutely. And as a grown adult person, like it should have been that way, but she's not written that way.
No, she's broken.
It's really like broken, and in a kind of way, it seemingly makes light of like the daddy. It's like women do have trauma about their dads that a lot of people write off as like daddy issues, and this seems to like almost like kind of
it relies on the trope.
Yes, and it's like, and either way could have been fine, but the fact that it was both, like, we're gonna make this fuck up her, her dad being missing is going to fucking ruin her and ruin her psyche and like basically make her life seemingly like from her point of view kind of not worth living.
Complete
decimated, broken,
unimportant,
unable to love other human beings, even maybe from that abandonment.
She can't find love. She's really taken over by this.
Yeah, and then to feel like
she feels very narcissistic in a way.
Yes, and in the end, being the fucking ghost in her room, it just seems to reinforce this whole idea that like...
Well, they kind of were implying before that there were aliens.
Or
precursor people that sort of built the way, which I thought, well, that's an interesting path.
Yeah.
And these people are kind of trying to accidentally run into him, and then it turns out, no, man, it's just us.
And it's just love.
And it's like, no, it isn't just us, because this guy miracled into a tesseract. What are you talking about?
Right.
This is insane.
And also, what do you think love is? And also,
what do you think love is?
Yes, what do you think a loving relationship between a father and a daughter should look like?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I'm going to tell you definitively, he does not love her. Yeah. Definitively. You want to know how I know?
How do you know?
Okay, well, first of all, before I shit on this movie, it had one truly excellent emotional sequence. And that sequence was when he gets back from the water planet to the space station and he watches the videos of his daughter and son.
Yes.
That was really well done. It was very moving.
Yes.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and I do want to add, again, before we're shit on it, in what he was attempting to do, again, what a kind of fun update on 2001. All to say that 2001, it is in a way, I don't want to say emotionless, but it deals less with emotion, the human element.
2001 is absolutely emotionless.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And I see this trying to add an emotional.
100% that.
Yes.
Because the robot's the only character, the only human character.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have these literal apes that all they understand is violence and dominance, and then you have these human beings who are suppressing it against the one emotional being, which is the robot.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And all to say, if you wanted to be like, no, but there is emotion. Okay. Yeah, I guess this is.
All right, you ready,
guess.
Maggie?
Here we go.
Definitively, he does not love his daughter.
Wonderful.
Here's how I know.
Good.
First of all, after he miracles through the fifth dimension with the dirt message that his daughter got in the past.
Yeah.
Horrible even explaining that. The fifth dimension spits him out basically near a space station, basically around in a way that he can be picked up and saved for about 100 years or whatever. So they basically put him under for 50 years or whatever. So when they wake him up, his daughter's now an old woman at the end of her life.
Right.
So again, this whole movie is about him trying to get back to his daughter.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the promise he made. I will be back.
I will be back.
He shows up in the hospital room. They hold hands. They weep together. And she says, okay, see ya. Go ahead and go find that other woman. She's like, I don't need you to be here. Go find that other woman. He's like, okay. So it's literally for a 2-minute hand-holding session? That's not love. That's insane.
That is insane.
That's completely insane.
That is insane.
It was such a just trying to tie all the emotions together and who cares?
Yes.
It was such an afterthought.
Such an afterthought.
And it's like, this is what you built to.
Yes.
And he didn't care.
Yeah.
She didn't care either.
Yeah. None of them.
They both moved on by the time they got back together. So then he's going to go have some space sex with Anne Hathaway.
Right.
Which, hey, am I blaming him for that? Are you blaming him for that?
No.
I understand.
But then don't build your entire movie on this
other relationship that doesn't matter. Huge problem.
And as someone who has a close, I'm like daddy. I have a good relationship with my dad.
I love my dad.
Girl. My dad loves me. La la la.
Your dad the best.
But he is. And it's to actually having wonderful, a source of love from a father figure, is wonderful. And the more people I meet that don't have that, the more wonderful and special it is.
100%.
And I specifically love movies that look at it because they are so rare and they hardly ever feel,
When they're good, they're very, very good.
When they're good, they're great.
Yeah.
And then you have things like this that's wow.
I just thought, this is probably my critique in general of Nolan, which is I think that he kind of half-asses the emotional buttressing that makes a movie work.
Yes.
He maybe not in his brain, but in his filmmaking, believes that stuff is not as important as the premise.
Yes. And the tie and
the cool shit that we're going to see.
And
he's
needing
wrong.
to tie it that the ghost was the dad.
Yeah.
Of course, that was one of the first things on the page.
And he's wrong. I think he's wrong. I don't think that stuff is really that interesting. It gets me in the theater, and I understand the value of that.
Right.
And it gives him an excuse to do some incredible filmmaking, which he does. But it's not the thing that makes the movie matter.
Right.
It matters when you pound the primal drum. You gotta pound that primal drum.
If he actually loved his daughter, how amazing would that it would be about the transcendental love of the way that someone's love can affect you years and years, even if they're out of your life.
On a premise level, Interstellar could have been one of the great films from the last 10, 15 years. Easily.
If it had something to say about...
If he'd had a deeper understanding than I'll be back, and then struggling to get back.
Yeah.
If it had been more than that, then we would have had something really profound, but instead it feels like there's a lot of platitudes that sort of are disguised as themes.
Yeah.
So for instance, there's that line like, what's the one thing that can travel across the solar system? It's love, right? And it's like it just makes you roll your eyes because it feels like a gross platitude. And the film seems to believe, no, this really matters.
Right.
But it doesn't really matter.
Right, because at the end, it's an equation that he Morse coded through.
That we don't understand.
That we don't understand.
Yeah, that we don't understand.
Yeah, and we
are
don't
never
get the
going to.
emotional payoff of their relationship, so...
Well, that's the problem. We don't get the emotional payoff of the relationship with his daughter, which we've spent almost the entire time talking about.
Yes.
Which tells you how important it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then we also don't understand the science piece.
Yes.
That is the cool thing about the film, but it kind of bails on that once we get into
Space
wormhole
land.
shit.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Like, I don't mind that the black hole is a magic portal.
Sure,
That's movies.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah.
I do mind that it ends up being so focused on his relationship with his daughter, and that happened in real life.
Right.
That troubles me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If it was a dream, I'm not as troubled by that.
Oh, absolutely. Because
Right?
in Dreamland, that makes more sense. It's also that the thing, especially when something emotionally doesn't ring true, it ends up being that trope of a guy using their feelings about women in their life to
That's what you end up doing.
That's what you end up doing.
Yep, you do end up doing that.
Yes, and that's unfortunately what it ends up being without that element. Without the
which is the thing that I think, especially as a male filmmaker at this point, you kind of need to think about that.
You gotta think about it,
because if your biases do end up bleeding into the film, I know I've done it too. So you
everyone's biases bleed into their art. Absolutely,
correct.
yes.
So if your biases are leading us down to an ungenerous path,
right, and also kind of just a rote path at this point. The thing is, it's mostly boring. Yeah.
I'm not. I don't have a problem with any particular element of the film, on a problematic level.
Right. Yeah.
I just think this is not very creative for a somewhat creative idea.
Yeah.
And we just didn't really get the best out of this.
I will say the way he wrote Anne Hathaway's character, I was just what the fuck?
I felt like I didn't know how to connect to her character.
Me either. I don't think he did. I don't think he knew what to do.
She was sort of an unwilling sex prize ultimately.
Yeah.
Now, she's not treated like that. So I don't want to make it sound.
And Anne Hathaway brings a lot to it that grounds that makes it feel more she's someone's daughter. Yeah.
I guess so.
But she kind of does that weird. She has that weird monologue about. In the middle, and it's just we haven't. Why are you giving this? Oh, because you're the woman in this,
Right, because you're the one that knows. Because you're a woman, right?
Conveniently, you were the one that would know this.
And she serves as sort of a parallel journey that Murph is having, right? She's the daughter of the guy who's in charge of NASA. We haven't mentioned at all the big twist of this movie, which is that Matt Damon is in only the second half of the movie, and he kind of crushes. He kind of crushes in this movie. Matt Damon in space. That's a good place for him.
Matt Damon in space. He's
Keep
also great in No Sudden Move.
I haven't seen it.
In a very similar role, actually.
Oh, great. Don't tell me more.
I'm excited. Tell you any more than that.
Because he was awesome in this film, I thought. It was cool. It did stretch on a bit, but it was cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Okay. Do you feel like you've successfully ranted?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I just can't imagine getting that deep into a movie and not... And a
lot of filmmakers are just really want to make cool stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of filmmakers like that who they may come from an emotionally honest place, but they may also just be interested in the cool, less emotional, more premise or visually entertaining piece. Because, honestly, box office doesn't reward deep filmmaking that much.
That's true.
I wish it did.
That's true.
But it doesn't.
There's a very famous director that I guess I won't name that I had a friend that was at a party with, and Guess what the director brought up out of nowhere? How much money every single one of his movies made at the box office. He like fucking listed it off like a, ATM machine. Yeah, it's pretty depressing.
I mean, that is the most important metric for success for a big time director.
Yeah.
If you're not bringing in Oscars. But even then, I think Oscars, the money is really more important than the Oscar.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
That's interesting. We didn't mention it all, and I just want to get it on tape somewhere. That robot is the stupidest thing in the world.
Oh my god,
that robot in Interstellar is completely ridiculous. I hated it.
You watched 2001, and that's your take on a robot.
It just felt like it wasn't even built for what it needed to do.
Yeah.
It felt like a Mystery Science Theater robot to me.
It did.
I'm sure somebody is going to be like, Adam, you don't understand how innovative this robot is. Fine, man. Sure. Fine, make your argument. I'm just telling you as an average moviegoer, which I think I am on this subject.
Yeah.
That robot looks stupid.
Yeah.
And functioned in a nonsensical way to me, and I was laughing at it.
Yeah. Yes.
So
and not with it. Sorry.
Yeah, I wasn't like, what a cool robot. I did not think that. I didn't think that. I know that when I saw this movie in the theater, I tried to think that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was okay, that's a robot. This time I'm like, that robot's stupid.
I've decided. I know, and it's bad now. When you first watched it, what was your first? Did you like it when you first watched it?
No, I thought it was boring.
Okay,
but
me too.
also I'm very susceptible to pressure from people about an opinion on a movie.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I don't let people tell me how to make my movie.
Yeah, because then
I know it sounds like an arrogant thing. Yes, I don't let people help me during the shot list phase.
That's probably gonna do.
Well, I know, but some people, they don't mind that,
Yeah.
But I remember that hurting a few producers that worked at Crack. They were just like, "Come on, man," and I just was like, "I can't," because I won't be making my movie then.
Yeah,
I'll be thinking about what you want to do,
right,
and trying to make you happy.
Yeah,
and then I don't know how to make that movie because I only know how to make myself happy. That's the stupid job this is.
Yeah.
Anyway, that sounds arrogant. I'm sorry.
I mean, no. That's like creative boundaries.
It's just hard. You want to be a good collaborator. I want to be a good collaborator. But I also want to feel like I know what movie I'm making.
Yes.
And because if you don't feel like that, you are really stressed out. And I don't want to feel like that. So that's part of it.
Yes. Everyone else wants you to know the movie too. From
of course, ultimately, that's the most important thing, really. I know that if you don't make movies, that probably sounds like a monstrous thing to say, but it's really true about the craft.
Yes, yeah.
Which you have to be happy with it because you're the only one that understands where we're really going. And if you don't understand that, we're in trouble.
Yes.
So
I mean, from an actor perspective, your window is this big because it's this tiny little character, and that's why it is fun because you don't have to think about anything else. But that means that somebody else is.
Somebody has to be
everything else. Yeah.
Well, and the point being that at that time when I watched it, I feel like it must have been with some guys from Cracked. I'm not sure, but there was definitely that feeling, and I didn't agree, so I kept my mouth shut about it.
Yeah,
because I don't want to be like a negative force. Yeah. There's been a few movies like that. This one was like that, where I was like, I just didn't really get into it. So speaking of not really getting into it,
bum, bum, bum.
Let's talk a little bit about Inception.
Inception.
Now, Maggie.
Yes.
I texted you something that I know surprised you after I watched the film this time.
You did, yes.
Would you care to repeat for the audience what I texted you?
Absolutely. You did say that after you watched it, you liked it more.
I did.
Yes.
I did like it more. I was kind of surprised because the first time I watched this movie, I thought, this is... who gives a shit? This is who cares? What are the stakes of this heist?
Right.
We're basically doing corporate espionage, and we don't know why.
In Dreamland,
and we don't even know why.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this whole journey is for money, but then it's not for money. It's really so that this guy can get through an airport. Is that really what it's about? So the stakes were just very who cares? And. I know people are going to think this is petty. I don't care. So let me briefly summarize Inception before we get into it. So if you haven't seen Inception is probably the high mark of Christopher Nolan's career.
Absolutely. I did really like when I first saw it. Yeah.
It was really cool. I also thought it was cool when I first saw it. I don't want to say that I didn't. And by the high mark, I don't necessarily mean it's his best film.
Right.
I mean, it's probably his most expensive and also his most successful as an independent original filmmaker.
Right.
Like he's
and
made
the
Batman
reception
movies.
was like, what? Yeah.
Right, and this was like a movie that the studio let him do because he'd made Dark Knight.
Yes.
And it proved like, so
Well,
sci-fi
he could do-
can be a big budget original idea. We can put money behind that, and it will be successful. And he did prove that.
Yeah.
And that's huge for filmmaking. So that alone, it's really awesome. It stars Leo DiCaprio in his huge year. 2006 was a huge year for him.
Yeah.
Because he was in this and also in The Departed, I believe, the same year. So huge year for him. He is a dream thief.
A dream thief.
He's a dream thief. One of the best in the world. Why? Because he says so.
And I guess we believe him.
Right. And apparently there's a whole industry of dream thieves.
But he's the best.
We don't meet any of those dream thieves.
Nope.
We
Just
only
this
meet the
one.
ones on this team.
Yes. Yep.
And we just are aware that others exist in the world. So the point of this movie is, first we establish this guy is a dream thief. He also has an extremely complicated relationship with his dead wife.
Yes.
Wife is
Poor
dead.
Maria Cotillard. She's played dead wives.
Wonderful
million
actress.
times.
Man, I really like her.
I love her.
Great actress.
Love her.
This is a dumb part for her.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, not
Have you seen
that.
Annette yet?
No, is she in that? Is that
She is,
do I
but she
need to
plays
see
another
that?
dead wife.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Why is she playing dead wives all the time? She just like is she like the female form of nostalgia? Is that
Kind
just
of,
like,
I mean,
okay.
kind of. Oh, because she's that in Midnight in Paris too. She plays a
But
lot of dead women.
Didn't she play like some famous person in Midnight in Paris?
Yeah, or she plays like a combo of like
Edith
yeah.
Piaf, maybe.
Yes.
Like somebody she actually kind of looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes more sense
yeah.
than these. Yeah.
Not to defend Woody Allen, but yeah. Anyway, so he's a dream thief. He has an ex-wife who is dead because she lost the sense of reality, what is real and what is not in the dream. And through a series of complicated past interactions that we learn via exposition over the course of 2 hours,
Yes.
we determine, one, that Leo DiCaprio, in his subconscious, is not able to stop his memory of his dead wife from invading and fucking up all of his dream thievery.
Right.
Okay, so that's the first thing.
And I would be, if I was a Yelp user, I would be like, okay, maybe not the best dream thief if your dead wife is Kool-Aid Manning into every single one of your situations.
Honestly, this is not a joke. The best way to like describe this problem, if it's too high concept, is that like Leo DiCaprio can't get a boner anymore.
Yeah,
and like he needs pills to get a boner now.
Yes.
And when
his
he gets,
job relies on him being erect for
he's
women.
like a porn performer that can't get it up anymore.
Yes.
He's got to get a shot, and when he gets a shot, he still thinks about his ex-wife. You know what I mean? Like that's the metaphor.
That's a really great metaphor.
That's the metaphor.
Yeah.
That's really the situation. So, okay. So he's hired after a failed trial. There's a trial run that fails.
Yeah.
F everyone's eye.
Right. Again, are you the best?
Yeah. Right. Hired by Ken Watanabe, who is the head of a successful corporation, to commit Inception. Now, Inception means that not only they're not stealing an idea, they are planting an idea. So they're not taking their leaving behind. The problem with Inception is that it has to feel like it's coming from the person's mind.
Right.
So it requires some kind of chicanery. And in order to do this, they go to a dream within a dream within a dream.
Oh, yeah.
So there's like layers and layers, which is where the meme of incepting shit comes from, right? Right.
Yeah,
Yes, this is where the
yeah.
blah meme comes from, and it's where the where within layers meme.
Yep.
So if you haven't seen this movie, I'm very surprised you're listening to this podcast, quite frankly.
Quite frankly, yes.
So they, most of the movie is explaining / conducting this heist.
Yep.
And it's done via the classic, let's explain to the new guy.
Yeah.
The new guy in this case is Elliot Page.
Yeah.
Okay. Elliot Page, pretty great in this film.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yes. Yeah.
Pretty great in this film. I hadn't seen that many of his films. So this is kind of the major one I've seen. I haven't seen Juno. I know that's the one.
We'll watch that. We'll watch
Okay, great.
Juno.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we will.
I think this is a nice outing for him. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
And because he is actually providing, and I'm not just saying this to be nice, he's actually providing more emotional context for this film.
Oh my God, you would
than
be,
anybody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's reacting to things as a human being would react.
The only person that's doing that.
Oh my, yes, the only character that is the end for anyone watching.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the reason I mention this is that, again, about an hour of this film is training Elliot Page on how to do his job and also on how this world works. Yeah. And I know that a million people have picked this world apart, but that still bothers me. So like, I need to go through a few things that super bother me about this movie.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So here's one of them.
Yeah.
Dream logic.
Yes.
This movie does not have dream logic in it.
Right.
And I can't, as a filmmaker, overstate how big of a letdown that is.
Right. I mean, that's such a part of filmmaking.
If you're going to do this movie, you would think the reason to do it is because it gives you such visual freedom.
Yeah.
Like, to give you guys an example of like what I mean by that, there are so many other ways of depicting a dream state. Let's try one that came out very recently. There was a video game that came out called Psychonauts 2. Now, it's not exactly dreams, but you're beamed into somebody's brain, so it's kind of the same. And every single person's brain is woven into this like very interesting collection of both icons and also sort of submerged backstory. And it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really interesting and cool. It's a really interesting, cool way. Here's another example. Okay, I've been watching The Sopranos, but The Sopranos is actually not my favorite at this. The show 6 Feet Under is my favorite at this. Dream sequences.
Yeah.
So one of the things they always do in dream sequences is they introduce things you don't understand and that don't make sense and don't add up, and then they repurpose things you've seen in other scenes in weird ways. You know, that's like a thing that just happens in dreams.
Like the duck thing. And yes.
None of that happens in this world. None of that happens in this world. These dreams are all Call of Duty levels.
Yes.
They're either corporate, like, you know, corporate like training videos, or they're a Call of Duty level. Yeah. That's what they are.
Yeah.
And people rave about this movie for being visually cool because of the, you know, the Matrixy scene in the hallway and, you know, the cool slow motion stuff. And that stuff is cool.
It is cool.
But like, imagine what a guy of this man's talent could do if he'd freed himself up from the idea that I need to make a linear, clear level.
Right.
Why does he need to do that?
Right. Well, and
why do we have that?
Yes. Why give that limit to yourself? And then also, listeners may know this, but like, you know, the anime Paprika that I texted you
yes,
about.
I'm so glad you said this. Go ahead.
Yes. All to be said is, yes, there's a million ways to imagine things. So why are like 3 to 4 of your coolest visuals like in Paprika?
So what she's saying is, he lifted some of the coolest images from an anime.
Yes.
Called Paprika. And also some of the basic concepts here.
Yes.
From Paprika.
Yes.
And
the dream guide,
they're almost
the dream
identical.
levels.
Yeah.
And also, again, to Paprika's credit, but they go way further with the imagination. Like there's like people folding in on themselves. Like it goes bananas. One of the last huge scenes is a giant scene where it's just like a freak parade, basically, where everything's folding in on itself, but there's people all over, and it's like like one of the coolest visual things you've ever seen. None of that is in Inception, you know.
I kind of understand Christopher Nolan's reasons for trying to restrict the world to accomplish 3 or 4 really amazing things.
Yes.
It's probably for budget reasons.
Yeah. Well, and also it does give him there is an aesthetic he is sticking to.
Well, that's the thing is, I feel like Christopher Nolan is sort of slavishly devoted to these like reasoned out syllogisms of a story that are not emotionally compelling.
No. Yeah.
They're not emotionally compelling. We just talked about that with Interstellar.
Yep.
My argument here is that like, I think they eventually do okay with the ex-wife or the dead wife stuff.
Yeah.
But that's a really rot story. That story is really rot.
Yeah.
Where it's like, he's falsely accused of her murder, but then also he's the one that made her think she was in a dream because they lived a whole life in the subconscious. And then she lost her thread, so she committed suicide, but then somehow he's blamed for that for police reasons we don't understand. It's all just very it's like this nebulous goo. And it's like, it's cool that we got all that explained to us, but it's hard to care because it takes so long for us to get that information.
It also seems like those parts, and then again, this is similar in Interstellar, like those are the chore for him, is like figuring out why he fucking cares about his ex. That feels like the thing that he was just like, whatever.
It's the difference between like your average noir comic and Chinatown. Okay.
Yes.
So Chinatown is not only a great noir story, it's a really great movie because at its core is a painful, interesting, seductive secret.
Yeah. That's true. That's
something that's really gut-wrenching, and it's dealt with in a gut-wrenching way. A noir story isn't going to get the gut-wrenching. It's going to get the gore version of it, right? The salacious version of it, right?
Yeah.
Where that's not actually as emotionally effective. It's going to be more for like the wink and the titillation, which then makes it more disposable. And that's the problem I have with Chris Nolan in general, is that he makes cool stuff that's ultimately disposable.
Yeah.
That's my hot take on Chris Nolan. He doesn't have to care what I think. I'm just saying.
Right. Well, when he's when you're separating the wheat from the shaft or whatever, it's like he keeps throwing daughter relationship.
Yes,
the things that it's like no, bring that back.
Correct.
Get rid of some of the things that you think are so interesting.
There's a few other logic problems I have with the world that I just want to explain. So one thing is they have a person who's an architect who creates the dream.
Right.
But the dream can exist in anybody's mind.
Right.
So there's an architect that can build a dream, and then I guess they're downloading that via, I guess, the IV tubes. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
So that means that these things, I guess, so that's the explanation for why the dreams are what they are. But the mechanics of that are really messy.
Right.
Really messy.
Right.
Because, the argument is, okay, so you have to build basic stuff and then their subconscious will take over and fill in details.
Right.
All right. So, why haven't they mapped out exactly how that relationship works? Because that seems like the
key,
fundamentally important piece of how these heists would always work. Also, if their subconscious is filling in details, how are you controlling?
How do you know what details are filling in?
How do you know what details they're going to fill in?
Right.
Because we already know, because of Leo DiCaprio, that you can't actually control the world that carefully.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I know there's high-level explanations for how all that stuff works, but it's really convoluted and it's dumb because we don't need that. We don't need any of that.
We don't need that.
Okay. So I've done enough with that. Now, there's a second problem I have with Inception. And this is the layer within the layer, Maggie.
Wonderful.
This is the Inception critique.
Wow.
Are you ready?
Here we go.
Inception is a really dumb version of self-important filmmakers' story about themselves.
Ooh, it is. The creation of the
Yes,
dream.
that's
the film that I'm
this
creating.
Dream thief that finds ideas or plants ideas and knows how to make you think about them and fill them out. You're gonna fill it out.
Yeah.
Right? It's this really thinly disguised metaphor for what he does.
Yeah.
That's very self-important.
It is.
And just, again, not a lot of emotional depth to it.
Right.
And the problem is all of his ideas are about this. Yes. All of them are about this. The Prestige is about this.
It is. It
Inception is
absolutely
about this.
is.
Interstellar is about this. All of his movies that are not Batman or Memento are fundamentally, and also not Insomnia.
I mean, but a little bit Memento, because look at me, the puppet behind the string that told the movie, told the movie backwards.
He's very much telling the story about himself as a hero.
Yes.
And about filmmaking as his tool that he's a master of.
Right.
And he's basically made that the story.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I think the film-going public actually kind of knows that and accepts it for that.
I think so too.
I think the film-going public, after all these years of irony and sort of meta-aware filmmaking, kind of don't mind a person who's sort of self-congratulatory. Like we're like culturally more tolerant of that than we used to be in the past. I'm not. I find that tedious and frustrating.
Yeah. And also when you do it over and over and over and over again, it's like, what else are you?
Find another story.
Find another story. What else do you have to say? Nothing? Okay, then maybe get out of the way if you have nothing to say.
I mean, look, you wouldn't give up the throne, right? I wouldn't give up the throne.
I would. If I truly felt like I had nothing to say,
but you're never
I would find another way.
You're never going to feel like that. How would Chris Nolan ever feel like that? He would never feel like that.
He should feel like that.
I know he should. Yeah. But how would he?
Someone tells him something
Who's gonna
real.
Tell him that? This is the problem.
Yeah.
This is why Woody Allen still makes movies. This is this is what happens. Is like when you make $1 billion movie. Nobody ever tells you anymore, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not there. Yeah. I don't know. But like, I can imagine even Tenet, he's not really hearing it.
Oh, he didn't hear it with Tenet.
That's the thing. Yeah. Tenet should have been the moment where he's like, maybe I don't.
Yeah, maybe I'm firing on weird cylinders.
But that kind of success, I think it's just impossible to. It's very, very challenging to accept. I need to pivot into something else, and I need to find new things to say.
Right.
Because how many of these people even can? Like, for instance, I don't think Tarantino has anything new to say and hasn't for decades.
No.
I don't think that M. Night Shyamalan has anything new to say and hasn't for decades.
Old was good. But yeah, he did.
You liked Old?
I mean, fun. Yes, I liked it.
Oh,
like
my
it was
God.
bad.
Okay, we got to talk about that. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Not right now, but
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I just think there's a lot of filmmakers like that. Now, I think there are filmmakers who can pivot and do, like Sidney Lumet. That's a guy who I always bring him up because he's one of my favorite filmmakers and because he keeps making cool shit.
Right. Soderbergh. Like,
correct.
Oh my God. Like, he's a person that's like, let's say something,
right.
I
don't always like it, but he's still trying stuff and I like that. Yeah. I mean, even for a long time, I thought Spielberg had a lot to say.
Oh, for sure.
He had like a good 30-year run where he was really doing it.
Yeah, and he's someone that's like, and maybe could again, and maybe not, who knows.
Never count him out.
Right. Never count him out. But as in, like, I kind of, at this point, I don't want to say like I count Nolan out. I don't think you can do that, but it's like I'm fundamentally uninterested in whatever he's working on unless it's going to be something.
I think he's had movies that seemed like they were gonna be different.
Yeah,
like he had that war movie, Dunkirk.
Yeah. Yes.
Dunkirk was different for him.
Yeah,
and I dug that. I dug that. But I think he's at a point where I would hope that first of all he's old enough where it's like take some time and really make a movie. Not like don't do a flashy movie.
Yes.
Do a movie that you really care about.
That's
whatever that is.
That's the thing. It's like when you have the power to do anything, and yet that's where it's like you could do anything, and you could take as long as you want, and you could have every resource at your disposal.
I mean, nobody can have every resource at their disposal, but he's as close as we get.
He's as close as you can fucking get. Yeah.
Right now he is.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, even Martin Scorsese or like. Spielberg now, they don't get stuff greenlit all the time.
Oh no,
and like those guys deserve it.
Yes.
And so I don't know. It's tough. I say that not to argue with you, but I know enough about my failings as a human being that if somebody gave me the throne, it's Game of Thrones. There's the chances of me giving it up willingly are very low. Maybe I want to make other opportunities for people, sure, but like giving it up. That's a tough thing for people to do. I don't know. I don't hear people doing that much. Do you hear people doing that?
I don't know what giving up the throne means because he could easily produce something for another director.
That's a great example.
Yes.
Stopping filmmaking and then letting other people make films for a while. Who does that though?
People do that all the time.
Not usually because they feel like unless maybe they're tired of the craft or they're stressed out.
Again, as we're talking, he continually talks about his own ego and his own
100%.
Grandiosness that he specifically will never do that, obviously, because every single film he's made is about how great and wonderful he is. So why would he ever think? Why?
They're part and parcel, right? That's the thing.
And all other filmmakers are below him, so why would he even give anyone a chance? But I'm serious. Yeah.
No, I know. And I'm not arguing that that's the right thing. I'm arguing that I just don't know how a guy like that can ever accept that kind of a critique of himself and do that. One would hope that, I would hope that that I would have enough integrity with that level of success that I'd be like, you know what, I'm not making films like I used to make. But there's just such a long history in all the arts of people who reach that level of success and they don't know it's time to quit. They never know. Or
they know and they just won't and don't want to.
I guess it's hard to say what people know.
Right,
but they don't.
Yeah.
They don't, when did the Rolling Stones finally go away? They didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're still doing it.
Right, but they're
not making the hit record of the year, right?
Right,
that's
they're not taking, they're not like...
taking somebody's slot.
Yeah. It's like they're,
Is Chris Nolan taking somebody's slot? Is that the belief? I'm just asking.
I wouldn't say taking someone's slot, but he's definitely at the point where he could absolutely be, and he does produce
other people's stuff.
He could be supporting other people's stuff, and and I think he's fundamentally uninterested in that. I don't know if he ever will be. I don't know if he ever was.
I don't know if I would want to do that if I was him. I know that's a selfish way to.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm just trying to imagine, what is it like if you don't like to produce and you like to direct, and they're going to keep letting you do it. Why would you stop doing it, even if your films were bad? Because you're never going to hear they're bad. Mm-hmm. That's not going to penetrate. How could it?
Well, yeah, but then here's the point. It's like, well, then
we stop watching them, right? That's what happens.
It's like I'm bored and you're bored, and you keep talking about yourself. It's like people can only be interested in that for so long. I think it's a natural thing.
Agree.
I think it's not really
it's going to work itself out, like Milton from Office Space.
I think men in the industry, when they get $1 billion, can do no, I don't think it's going to work itself out.
When they get to be a billionaire.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, you get to do whatever, great, woohoo.
They're James Cameron.
You make sucky movies, wonderful, great. And again, unless he gains some self-awareness of maybe I should explore, the emotional side, but I don't know if I don't even think he cares about it.
I'm coming to a realization in life, I think. I don't, don't quote me on this in my funeral, but for right now at age 41, I think it's really hard to gain self-awareness without suffering. I think it's really hard to gain, and I mean real suffering.
Absolutely, and I do think that is kind of part of the problem it will promote people that may not have the best thing to say, but they're just whatever. They're Josh Frank who wore a baseball cap. So
they're a guaranteed audience in the theater.
Yes,
because they're extreme in some way.
Right, they're this or that.
And then once in a while, an artist comes through. But the problem is, usually that artist, not always, but a lot of times that artist can only really say 2 or 3 things, and they say them, and then they're not going anywhere because they got to make money and they want to keep telling stories. We don't have the most rewarding or well-conceived business model for quality.
No.
I mean, but the real problem is now we reward journeyman projects. Mm-hmm. That's the real problem, right? Is by journeyman I mean products that are expensive and they make money, like Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
But you don't get paid to be an auteur and be in a Marvel movie. No. There very few of them. Mm-hmm. They're direct. Some of them are directed well by the really talented directors, like Take or whatever. Mm-hmm. But mostly you're there to fill that role and let this film be directed as was planned.
Yeah. You're there to direct the very specific to the scenes with the people and literally everything else.
And you
bigger
make a
than
fortune
that
doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, well, we should get rid of that. Sure, Chris Nolan shouldn't be making his movies this way anymore. I agree, but I still think what he's doing is better than
they're doing Marvel movies over and over again.
I don't want him to do a Marvel movie. I don't want anyone to do.
I don't think he would, but also again, his ego. I don't think he would ever want to do a movie like that because I think he sees himself as better than.
I know. Yeah. Isn't he though? Isn't he better than a Marvel movie? Is he
I
wrong?
think we just talked about emotionally emotionally it's about
I think
as
it's about
deep
the same.
as any
but
Marvel movie.
He's doing way more interesting ideas than Marvel is, I would say.
He's attempting more interesting.
Yes,
and
he's
also
attempting
at
more.
this
Yep, that's
point,
right.
I don't even know if I would.
Not
I think
right
early
this
on
minute.
for sure.
Not
yeah.
right this minute. But
Not
even
right
the
this
films
minute.
we've talked about today
Yes.
are still more interesting than most Marvel films.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
With
yeah.
some exceptions,
Yes.
but most Marvel films.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting state of the director that we just had.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is really interesting to, just a director that really doesn't understand emotions. It's very like oddly alienating.
He's not the
everyone.
first.
Definitely not
I don't
the
think
first.
Tarantino understands him either.
No.
I think he's better at directing actors, though.
Yes.
But I don't think Tarantino has a deep, profound understanding of emotions. No. By contrast, I think David Lynch does.
Yes.
Now, that's a
Yes.
guy who did step down the way that you said.
Yeah.
You know, he did sort of feel like, I don't have anything to say,
Yeah.
so he stopped making
Yeah,
films.
that's why I love David Lynch.
That's a bummer, because I'm like, no, find something to say. Please. Find something, Dave.
Find something, please. He loves giving the weather reports.
Oh, my God, those
my
weather
God.
reports. Today's number is 7.
There it is.
And it's a Friday.
It's a Friday.
He actually reminds me a little bit like Vin Scully,
Yeah.
the Dodgers director.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you guys haven't seen this, David Lynch has a YouTube channel, and all he does is like give you weather reports every
Yeah,
day
yeah.
and like give you the lucky numbers.
From California, from LA.
And it's just, I don't know, it's really heartwarming and weird.
Yeah.
It's
Every
like,
once in a while, he'll do something like he'll read a poem or something, or sometimes say something. Yeah,
He
relevant.
doesn't even play or plug his album, which is all I ever want him to do.
Yeah.
That's all I ever want him to do. It's just like, now listen to Crazy Clown Time by me.
Yeah, you
He
love
just
it.
plays it. Oh, God, I wish he would do that. Well, we had a hell of a time. It's
had a
time to
hell of
thank
a
a few more
time.
producers, don't you think?
Yes.
Thanks so much to Nate.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you, Nate. I know
Thank
a few
you
Nates.
so much to Nicholas Fabian.
Nicholas Fabian.
Thanks to Michael, Ummagumma Hudson. I kind of respect.
Michael Ummagumma.
I respect.
That's fun to
amazing.
say. That's great.
I respect Michael Hudson's sincere effort to get us to talk about Pink Floyd.
Oh,
He's just been working so hard to get us to talk about
it'll
Pink
come.
Floyd.
I mean, I love Pink Floyd. So
Maybe
it's coming
I
at
really
some
like
point.
Dark Side. Big Dark Side guy.
Yeah.
Also a big Wall guy, but less Wall. More Dark
More
Side
Dark
than
Side
Wall.
than Wall?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sometime I'll tell you the story of when I watched The Wall with my friend. It was the last time I smoked weed, Maggie. I was 13.
Oh my God.
I know.
Wow, young Adam.
I had a little bit of I have some stories, Maggie. You may have discovered I have stories tucked away.
Okay.
I've lived a life.
Interesting.
All right. Thanks to Nathan Wells.
Thank you, Nathan Wells.
Thanks to Adam by the Birch.
Thank you, Adam by the
Oh.
Birch. Yes.
What a serene figure that man makes.
Absolutely. Very Darcy, Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, yeah. That guy's wearing a high
but
collar.
There's a reason. Hot.
He is a hot, endowment somewhere.
Silent type.
He's got a ferocious pride, but he needs to set it aside.
To some prejudice.
Thank you. Thanks to Melissa.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you to Jake Emery,
Thank you, Jake Emery.
foreign dignitary.
Hi, yes.
To Holland.
Welcome to the Emerys.
Dignitary Emery
Yeah.
represents us over in Holland.
Yeah.
know?
Thank you, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Holland
Make us
needs
look
to
nice.
know. Holland needs a U.S. presence.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
I guess so too. I've never even thought about going to Holland. Have you ever thought about it?
No, there's Holland, Michigan, and they have like a full windmill, and like they have like a full.
Do you dig it, or is
mini-
it meh?
It's cute. They got like a little tulip.
But Holland's not cute anymore.
No,
right?
no, I don't think
like
so.
it's not like it's preserved in the past.
No.
With like
It's-
wooden
no.
shoes and shit.
No.
Okay, yeah, I'm just making sure.
No.
All right. Thanks so much to your favorite, Parvana Angus.
Permanent Angus.
Thank you so much to Dave Ruff.
Dave Ruff.
That guy's a firefighter if I've ever met one.
Absolutely.
Whew.
And
Looks poured into that uniform.
yes, and you have the Dalmatian dog.
Oh, yeah. Those are unstable dogs.
They are. Hannah has one.
They have some problems.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Dogs a Dalmatian.
Maggie likes to throw Hannah at me from time to time.
I do.
For me to consider. Fair enough.
To consider.
Thanks
Consider my friend Hannah.
consider her.
Consider her.
Thanks to Jen Tacular.
Thank you, Jen Tacular.
Maggie really likes you.
I do.
Yeah, you're one of her favorites.
Yeah, I like when someone's like, I'm tacular.
Yeah,
Gen-tacular.
I'm so Gen.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
Gen that I'm Gen-tacular.
Yeah.
Just maxed out on Gen. Thanks to your other favorite bro, Jay.
Bro Jay.
You want to take the next ones?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Seth and Quinn's mom.
Whose name is Darlene.
Darlene.
That's cute, right?
Oh, yeah.
I like Darlene.
I love Darlene.
Pretty good.
Oh, man. Thank you, Ben Menasha?
Menasha.
Menasha.
I think so.
Ben Menasha.
Ben Menasha. Has a restaurant.
Absolutely. And clients hit on them pretty
Oh, yeah.
frequently.
I mean, they're not just there for the spicy food.
Is Ben around? No? Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll have a sushi. I don't know.
My husband's dead.
My husband's dead. Wow.
Dropping that.
Thanks to Brock Berkner.
Thank you, Brock Berkner.
I took your job away. I'm sorry. Please
did
continue.
You? Oh, no, that's fine. Thank you, Jeff Tran.
He seems
Thank
like
you
a
very
good
much.
guy.
Absolutely. I think probably works in a shipping yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
An old-timey one.
He's the old time. He's the one deciding where the shipping containers get stacked.
Yeah.
That's
He's
his
the
job.
one that got them all in a kerfuffle.
He's
earlier
calling the cans in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving the
for Lord,
cans.
Jeff.
Okay.
Thank you, Michael Bentley.
Michael Bentley is actually a dog.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
A dog that likes our show. Yeah. That would warm your heart, wouldn't it?
It's better than a human.
Maggie lit up with that idea.
I did.
Okay.
Thank you, Donna Milligan.
Yeah. Your
Thank
favorite.
you very much.
You love Donna.
And I especially love that last name.
Yeah,
Milligan.
Donna Milligan. She's an artist. She draws a lot of nonsense. Yeah, lots of nonsense it's like fish women. She draws a lot of fish women.
I love fish women.
Well, you and Donna might have something to brain about.
Wow. All right, we're gonna talk Donna.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Thanks to Evan Fineout.
Thank you.
There's a name.
Absolutely.
That guy owns a surf shop, if anybody does.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
And it's fine outside. That's in the logo.
Maggie just surfed out of here.
Woo, and goodbye.
Thanks to Renee Olivo. Olivo? Olivo?
Yeah,
I don't know.
one of those.
Seems faintly exotic to me.
Or Italian.
Could be Italian. Yeah. Olive. I don't know. We didn't really have anything that creative at the end of the podcast here for you, Renee. But hey, we love you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We love you so much. Thanks to Seth T. Goyne.
Seth T. Goyne.
That's a name.
Yeah.
That guy.
Runs a lot of D&D.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Games.
Dungeon Master.
Yes.
Got a cap,
Yep,
the whole
yep.
thing. Has like a 50-sided die. Knows how to use a 50-sided die.
Yeah. He's the guy you go to.
Yeah, he's got die that are almost spherical, but they're not.
But they're not.
He knows how to roll them.
Wish.
Thanks to Charlie Artful.
Charlie Artful.
What a name.
Yes.
Charlie Artful?
I'm wondering that. I mean, it could be a real name.
I think that's probably a pseudonym and he's actually a thief.
Probably. Yes.
Yeah.
He's stolen that art. Give it back.
That's right.
Give it back,
It's a
Charlie.
real Thomas Crown affair going on for Charlie Artful.
Yeah.
That's right. Charlie Artful, I know that's a known to plume. I don't know what your real name is. It's not Charlie Artful because that's too cool.
We'll figure it out and we'll find out what you've stolen.
It's probably like Schmidt. It's probably like Frankie Schmidt or something.
Yeah.
It's not Charlie Artful.
No.
We're not having this shit.
Nice try, Frankie.
Nice try. Thanks finally to Maggie's newest favorite.
Yes, a cheese sandwich. A cheese sandwich.
That's all she wants right now at 9:22 p.m.
I do love
when we've been recording for 5 hours.
I do love cheese.
We're heroes, aren't we?
We are.
We're the heroes that don't wear capes, but heroes just the same.
I feel like a hero.
Oh, you should.
Good.
You've been a hero.
Good.
This whole time.
I
Anyway.
I become Nolan from That's
That's right, yeah, you're just bringing the ego now. Yeah.
I am a hero.
I am the hero. The story should be about me.
Yes. Watch me make the story.
Yeah.
Story about how I make the story.
It should be me making stories about me. Yeah,
People
that does
like
sound
that
good.
forever.
Hey, we love you so much, everybody.
Yes,
Thanks
thank you
for
so
tuning
much.
in. Bye.
This has been a Small Beans endeavor. We're a bunch of pals who make podcasts, sketches, music, web series, and movies. The beans always have new ideas percolating, so make sure to check us out at patreon.com/smallbeans. That's patreon.com/smallbeans, where you can browse all of our current and past content, see what we've got planned in the future, and learn how your support can help the small beans grow into huge, giant monster beans. If you enjoyed this content module, please like, rate, subscribe, or tell a friend about us. We love you!